Thank you, Madam Chair. Allow me to go straight to my very short remarks and a legislative proposal. Let me emphasize an important point of constitutional law, and that there is a difference between claims of false information provided by ordinary citizens and false information peddled by public officials. The problem is not private citizens in Facebook or Twitter exposing government incompetence, dishonesty, or corruption. The problem is government dishonesty. As a matter of constitutional law, it is worrisome for government to engage in a witch hunt to expose private speakers on claims that these citizens are being too critical or even dishonest. Such actions inevitably produce a chilling effect on freedom of expression. As stated by Senator Drilon earlier, you already have the libel laws to take care of that. What I consider a threat to our democratic values and a danger to the marketplace of ideas is the prevalence of false information provided by public officials, whether deliberately or out of sheer incompetence. False information provided by public officials poses special problems. Number one, they are paid with public funds. It is an outrage that they receive taxpayers' money so they can lie. Number two, the official status provides official imprimatur to false information, whether posted in private or official social media accounts. Number three, their public employment provides them with access to government facilities, creating a semblance of credibility where otherwise there might not be any. And number four, their access to government facilities means that the false information they provide gets widely distributed. Ordinarily, Your Honors, the mechanisms of government for responding to dishonesty by public officials are the disciplinary sanctions under the Civil Service Law, the Ombudsman, or by the heads of agencies, including the Office of the President. Well, the problem is when these mechanisms are not triggered. The traditional constraints to government dishonesty, freedom of speech by informed private citizens, and freedom of the press have exposed many of these instances of dishonesty and incompetence. But they have also been dismissed by government as biased or unfair political attacks rather than efforts to promote honesty in government. Ordinary citizens, therefore, are confused by an environment where officials of the executive department, in particular, are able to disseminate false information while demonizing the press and activist citizens. Your Honors, this is a structural problem of the information environment and a phenomenon where government disinformation is able to hide behind the mantle of official action and protection on one hand, while freedom of speech and the press are tagged as politically biased on the other. The way to counterbalance government disinformation is through the creation of a public institution whose sole task is to identify and publicize government dishonesty. When public officials become dishonest, it is the obligation of the state itself to correct distortions in the marketplace of ideas. I propose, Your Honors, that Congress enact a statute creating the Institute for the Integrity of Information, a sort of ombudsman for public information provided by the government, or an information police for government officials. What are the main features of the Institute for the Integrity of Information? Number one, it should be composed of a board whose members are academics, media practitioners, policymakers, scientists, information technology experts of the highest credibility and competence. Number two, they should not be appointed by the President or by any of his alter egos. In my opinion, this can be done without violating the Appointments Clause of Article 7 of Section 16 of the Constitution. Number three, its function is fourfold. A, to create standards for verifying information provided by government. B, to actually verify information provided by government, C, to publicize its findings, and D, to issue rewards to citizens who are able to spot fake information provided by public officials. The Institute for the Integrity of Information should be able to act either motu proprio or upon referral by citizens of a claim of fact made by a government office or official. I urge your honors to focus on a metaphor that we should recognize false information as a calamity that wreaks havoc upon a sensitive ecosystem, the information environment or the marketplace of ideas. And so in the same way that the government has spent resources informing and warning citizens about impending or ongoing calamities through the Pag-asa or FIVOX, etc., the government should likewise invest in informing and warning citizens about government dishonesty, which distorts the information environment, polarizes conversation, and manipulates citizens. There is a need to create the Institute for the Integrity of Information because the integrity of public information is essential to opinion formation and therefore public discourse. If citizens think and act on the basis of wrong assertions of fact by public officials, then our marketplace of ideas will receive and produce wrong signals, the consequence of which is the impairment of the value of truth. We live in an age of impunity, and I fear that apart from the thousands of killings on our streets, a tragedy that has received global attention, we have also become witnesses to another form of impunity, the death of truth. Your Honor, so far as I know, there is no other special public institution, such as the Institute for the Integrity of Information, anywhere in the world. I hope the Senate considers this proposal not only as an urgent and practical response to government dishonesty, but also as an opportunity to create a model legislation for all democracies around the world grappling with attacks on truth. Thank you and good afternoon.